Hey everyone, Leo Bond here. I'm back again today with another video review, and this time I'm taking a look at the Bachmann Trains Chattanooga electric train set, which is modeled after the Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Railroad that dates all the way back to 1845. And this classic model train set, which is an HO set, that's a 1 to 87th scale, which is the most popular model train set scale that there is. It comes with a whole lot of stuff, and it's really, really cool. Now, I've been testing this out here for the last couple of weeks, and we're going to take a look at the main components that come with it. I'll show you a little bit of the train in action, and I'll let you know what I think by the end of the video. So basically, there are 6 different cars that comprise the set, including the highly detailed locomotive itself, and that's the car that actually houses all of the electronic components, the things that allow it to pull the other cars around the track and that sort of thing. And as you can see here, the level of detail with this car is just unreal, and there's a good bit of heft to it too, making it feel a lot more solid than I'm sure it is, considering how tiny some of those little detailed components are. Now, immediately following the locomotive is the tender car, which carries the coal that is fed into the locomotive to keep it chugging along. So for that reason, the tender is right there with the locomotive, almost like it's part of the locomotive. It leads all the other cars, though you do have a certain amount of leeway as to car arrangement with the remainder of the cars in the train, that is, aside from the caboose. And anyway, the order that I'm using here is pretty much the way the set was shown on the box, which means that the next car for me is the big old Frisco Boxcar, a huge orange car that says "Ship It" on the Frisco, and it is the brightest and in a lot of ways probably the prettiest car in the set, and I guess maybe that's just because I really like orange, but it is a highly detailed car as well, and for that matter, all of the cars in this set are very, very detailed, and really, that's one of the most impressive things about this set. It's just jam-packed with tons of very tiny and authentic molded-in detail that just really brings this train to life. Now, the next car is the open quad hopper, which is another coal carrier, much like the tender, only quite a bit bigger than the tender, and you can see that the coal here is showing, so it's completely wide open, which I'm sure would allow for coal dust to be blown out there everywhere when the car, drove past you on the tracks. Probably made it hard for some people to breathe as this thing passed by. And anyway, there's also some really nice riveting work here on this car, which is very, very cool, and of course, it has Norfolk and Western N and W on the side. Now, the 5th car is a single dome pin salt tank car, which is the only tanker in the set here, and I really just love this one. It's so bright and colorful with that yellow and everything, and again, the detail here is just fantastic. There's a little ladder that goes up the side of the car and all kinds of writing all over it and everything like that, and there's really just something about that yellow that just really pops, and I just love this one. But anyway, finally, there's the off-center caboose, which really has that old-timey look to it, and is also a very bright color, being in red. Now, I don't know if there's quite as much detail on the side walls of this one, but just look at everything that's going on at the front and back ends of the car, and you can really see that Bachmann has gone to town with this one when it comes to putting in all the little details. There's railings, there's ladders, just a whole lot going on there. It's very, very impressive, and this is the first model train set that I've ever actually handled myself, and I've been extremely impressed with all of it, and especially these highly detailed train cars. Now, as far as the little bits and pieces that come with this set go, there's a ton of little stuff that comes with it. The track itself consists of 14 different pieces. There's 12 curved ones and 2 straight ones, and one of the straight ones is actually where the intake is for the power, and this thing just plugs into your regular power outlet via the standard wall adapter that comes with it, and there's a little, I guess what you'd call a control box that you can use, which allows you to regulate both the speed and the direction of the train, so whether it's moving forward or backwards. Now, there is also a Suburban Station that you have to put together yourself, and a signal bridge that you'll have to put together yourself. And the only thing about that is putting the little signal lights into the housing for those. It's really, really small, My fingers are not, and so that took a little while. But otherwise, it's actually quite fun to put this thing together. There's 48 different street signs and railroad signs, way more than you probably really need. There's 36 telephone poles. You may need them depending on what sort of a setup you're doing. And then there's 48 basically people, all different kinds of people doing different things. Some of them are maybe railroad workers, others are maybe passengers waiting for a train, that sort of thing. And of course, I built the track basically into an oval configuration. That's pretty much all you can do unless you get more track pieces, which is certainly possible. But the hardest part with this thing for me was actually getting the train to set to, right on the rails. The wheels, the track, everything is so small. And unfortunately, I was having to do this on the floor. And you kind of really need to get down at about track level in order to see what you're doing. And you can't really do that if you're on the floor. So ideally, you would have a nice table or some sort of a bench that you could set this up on. And really, it only takes a few minutes to totally set it up. And it's a whole lot of fun once you do. And once you get the train on the track. And what I was extremely impressed with is that this thing did not derail once. I couldn't believe that because, I never had one of these sets before, but I just figured there's bound to be something that caused a derailment. And the only time it went off the track at all is if I accidentally knocked it off the track. So very, very impressive in that way. A whole lot of fun. Definitely worth checking one of these sets out. Like I say, it's my first time and I really enjoyed it. I took my time setting it up and playing with it. I had it set up for a couple weeks. And of course, it is ready to run right out of the box. All you have to do is put the track pieces together and just get the train on there, plug it into the wall, and you're ready to go. Now, one other thing I did want to mention is this is very, very cool, is the locomotive part of this train actually has working smoke. There's a little vial of some sort of oil that you can put in there, and once you get kind of up to speed, she'll start smoking. It really helps the effect to make it look like a real train going around the track. And another thing that I didn't even notice at first is that there's actually a working light on the front of the locomotive, which is really, really cool, especially if you want to run it kind of in the dark or sort of half dark, not totally dark. I tried to do that and I ended up kicking the train off the track a couple of times. But anyway, as you can see, there's a whole lot going on here, lots of detail. It's definitely worth a look, but that is all I'm going to say about it right now in this video. I would like to thank you all for watching though, and if you enjoyed it or found it useful, please give it a like or a share to help the channel grow, and feel free to stick around and check out some of the other toy reviews here on the channel as well. Anyway, that's all from me for now, so until next time, thanks again for stopping by, and have an excellent day.